So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the light.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Subway Regional BD podcast. I want to thank you guys for joining us, all of our franchisees, managers, general managers, sandwich artists for the JPW territories and for the Northwoods territory. So we've got some quick updates for you on some sales information, and we've got a couple topics to cover about Window 2, some hours of operation stuff, and some regional meetings and some training and Refresh 3.0 information that's going to be coming up. So just a couple topics, but hot topics and very relevant to what we're doing. So I am going to send it over to Mike, and he's going to get us started.
And they're consistent topics. We're constantly, for the whole year, it feels like we're talking about Subway Series and Big Refresh 3.0. And those really are the two themes of this year. So let's talk about that first one, Subway Series. We're 7 days, depending on, I guess, when they watch this, 7 days away from the launch. Window 2 is all about Subway Series. We're adding 2 new builds and then taking 4 of the build your own Subway classic sandwiches, and we're putting it onto that Subway Series menu. You also notice that the build your own has moved down to just one translate. And so you can tell, like, through all of the conversation and all the focus on the Subway Series, we're really trying to not just train ourselves, but our guests to move into this Subway Series, great tasting, great combination, flavorful sandwiches. And that's what Window 2 is all about. And we're kind of getting prepared for Big Refresh 3.0 that we'll talk about in a little bit. In addition, Window 2 has double cheese on all sandwiches except for the fresh mozzarella. We've removed the low-performing Subway Series sandwich, so that is gone. I believe it's still available on digital. It's just not taking up any real estate on the translate. And then we've removed the foot-long pro size as well. Now, it doesn't mean double meat is going away. Double meat is absolutely still an option. I still heard just about a week ago in one of our stores, a customer that said, I didn't even know we can get double meat. So interesting, and just it just goes to prove how important that is for our team to be recommending it. Maybe not robotically every single time, but occasionally.
I mean, even if it is robotically, at least you're, if you strike out 9 out of 10 times on that and get, 10% of our guests to go with an upsell, it is one of those things that was frustrating for me and some of my friends for a long time. Like, I kept telling them, like, hey, you can get double meat at Subway for just a little bit extra. And a lot of people didn't ever know that was an option. And so with, all the trends and, higher protein diets that people are after, I think, it's something that we have to constantly suggest to our guests too. Get those upsells up.
Yeah. Yep. Now it is going to be on the menu, but it's only taking up a little bit of real estate. It's on a footer, and then in addition, we have the new ACT simplified service steps. You heard about that last conference call that we held, and then also on the podcast as well. That's all about training our team to ask, in terms of the Subway Series, ask, confirm, and thank, and send them down to the register. There's going to be additional training resources, and then also with the Window 2 comes new pricing recommendations. If you haven't looked at them yet, you have to look at them. You've got to take the tool, and you've got to take your common sense, and then you've got to put together pricing that makes sense. So take advantage of that if you haven't. If you're following the recommendations from Subway headquarters, last time you would have taken a price increase would have been around November of last year. And so if that's you, then now is the time, especially with the new menus as we're putting them up. Don't wait until like a week after the window and have your team change all those decals again. No. That would just be mean.
Yeah, do it all at once. There's a lot of data that goes into this tool that can show, what your price elasticity is, what your competition is doing. Obviously, with increased labor costs, we have had to raise prices to keep up with that, but we want to do it smart. You don't want to cause a whole bunch of sticker shock, and you don't want to fall too far behind too. Right. We've had people that didn't take the price increases as they were coming, and now they're behind where they should be and missing out on profits that way. So make sure you use that tool, look at your menu boards, do what makes sense. Do it not just based on just that turkey turkey foot long price. But I mean, that's kind of our baseline for, how we change things. But you got to make sure that the sandwiches make sense. And the new menu manager update should help make that a lot simpler to put that across your whole organization.
Yeah. So that's what Brandon's talking about, the new recommended pricing be built into Menu Manager, more tools, resources on that. Just contact your field consultant if that sounds new to you. And the last two things on Window 2, first of all, the kits are already here. Kits arrived last week. So if you don't have your kit, I'm going to flash an email up on the screen here that you can reach out to. It's B. Wilhelm. I'm just kidding. But reach out to this email that's on the screen here. If you don't have your kit or you're missing something. April 27th is Window 2 launch, and then finally the media launch is May 13th. That's Window 2, and now Brandon, over to you for hours of operation.
Well, first of all, to get into hours of operations, we've got to talk about sales, obviously, because it has to make sense for us. And looking at the last 13 weeks, first quarter of 2023, we've got some impressive sales numbers across the region. We're rolling over last year's Easter, we're up 23. All these numbers, 109, 117, 115, 117. We've had a really, really strong start to the year. I think you guys have all seen that in your own, Live IQ numbers that we're heading in the right direction. We're far exceeding sales from last year. Traffic is growing as well in most of our stores. And part of increasing that traffic is to smartly increase our hours of operations. We've got warmer weather, longer days. We need to start looking at those nighttime hours especially. We've got, going into the summer, it's always a little bit easier to staff in this area. We've got more people looking for jobs. So talk to your field consultant. We can look at those, look at the formulas, look at what it takes. If you're doing, 70, $100, $150 or whatever that last hour, you should really be looking at expanding for possibly another hour. One thing that a good franchisee out on the East Coast that made a recommendation to me too is he has experimented with late night, especially on Friday and Saturday nights, and sometimes Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, where even if you're not comfortable keeping the lobby open late, expanding those late hours for third-party delivery. It's a lot of times easier in the summertime to find that person who is willing to work those late hours. And it's, I think, a worthwhile experiment because people, especially on Friday and Saturday nights, they may have made some bad decisions earlier in the night, and they're looking at, at midnight, hey, what is available on DoorDash? What's available on Grubhub? And a lot of times it's like just McDonald's, and get 20 chicken nuggets or whatever delivered or something like that instead of, and if you see that Subway, Subway's available and I can get a
Monster.
I can get the Monster. That sounds pretty awesome, but this guy out east, he did quite a bit of business late night, just with third-party delivery on Friday and Saturday nights. So it's something to consider. It's certainly worth the experiment. Obviously, if you have a drive-through, possibly look at keeping that drive-through open into the evening hours. Even on experiment with it. Even if you just try it a little bit on Friday and Saturday nights or Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. But we need to do that in a smart way. We need to get that late night traffic, and the trends are going the right direction for that. And so again, we've got longer days, more available workers in the summertime, and so talk to your field consultant, have them look at your hourly breakdown with you, and we'll try to do that in a smart way to get those hours up, so it's profitable for you in the right time, in the right place, in the right hours. So that's about it for me covering on sales and hours of operation going into the summer. But it's time to look at that seriously. And now Mike is gonna go over Big Refresh 3.0.
Yes.
Update.
So Big Refresh 3.0 is, as you know, all about slicers, and so rolling this out a little bit by distributor. Got caught up last one. by DC. Got caught up last month on that, but by distributor, we're rolling out by distributor. You already know that. And so where are we at? Good news is a couple of you guys got moved up, so we're not waiting until like next year for these slicers. Cisco, Illinois, all of you that are serviced by Cisco, Illinois already are slicing ham. If you know a franchisee or a friend in that's serviced by Cisco, Illinois, give them a call, see how it's going. Turkey is on its way for you folks. If you don't have your Subway University training live with all of your team members that are going to be slicing, they're over 18, they're slicing, please take care of that. Now, Reinhardt, Oak Creek, 100% of the slicers are installed. We're about 2 to 3 weeks. We're looking at early May for you to get your first protein in that you'll be slicing. That's very likely going to be ham as well. So stay tuned for that. And then Reinhardt Shawano slicers are looking to be installed in May and June. Training is not live yet, so really, just as last month, what we need to be doing is thinking through, well, once it's here, how am I going to train? When am I going to have my meetings? And make sure you've got a spot. Typically front of house, about 90% of the last several thousands of slicers have been installed front of house as opposed to back of house. And then finally, Cisco, Iowa. This is new for you. You guys got moved up, so that's really good news. You got moved up. Slicer will be installed in May and June, and you'll be slicing at least a protein come July, which is really timely because the big refresh 3.0 media launch is happening July 11th. So Big Refresh 3.0, the in-restaurant launch is going to be June 22nd. More to come on that. But the media launch that we'll all be waiting for when we start communicating, hey, we've got slicers, something's different at Subway, we've got slicers, and we're slicing proteins. That's going to launch July 11th, and we're really looking forward to that. I thought I had another point on slicers, but I don't think that I do. Do you have any final thoughts on slicers?
Well, it's been executed really fairly well so far. Like, I shouldn't say fairly well. It's been executed very, very well. We haven't had hardly any issues. I haven't gotten any real complaints or anything like that. So far, like we're slicing here in Rockford, slicing ham. Seems to be going very well. So, I think it's something that we have to make sure that we execute properly, make sure your people are trained well on how to do it, how to be safe, especially while cleaning the machine, that sort of thing. And hopefully, I think it will really change the perception of our guests that we'll have even, fresher, better tasting product in the store.
Yeah.
So, so just make sure that you're ready to execute, that your team's ready to execute and do this really, really well.
We did have a run-in. One of our team members was helping a franchisee, and we did find out through the tech it was user error. But there was an issue where they're like, okay, well, I'm just going to call the 1-800 numbers. I call the 1-800 number. They do a FaceTime with the tech, and the tech was able to identify, well, this is wrong. Haha. Fix that.
You did
it. But how cool is that? Is that you've got a tech right there on FaceTime that's able to look at the slicer, figure out the issue, and then help you move on. And that store was back up and slicing. It was probably a 60-second FaceTime call with a tech. So support so far has been good for the very few issues that we've had thus far.
Right. So let's keep executing, get ready for training, and we'll be in good shape. So just to wrap things up, I hope everybody is happy with the momentum that we've got so far going into the summer. I think that we are going to really, really do well this summer. The sooner it gets hot, the better we are. So I think we've got some good weather that's coming our way, and I think we'll have some great sales going into the summer. We are, like Mike said, we've got some key dates that we're going to be sending out once those are finalized in groups for actual slicer training for those who are not slicing yet and prior to the launch. We're also going to be looking at setting up in the next few months here to try to get kind of some market, roundtable discussions to be able to connect more in a group. I know it's been tough to get some of these meetings together. Obviously, that we're available for private meetings anytime to discuss business plans, to discuss overall strategy and future. I'm available to do that with you, but it's good to get kind of more group discussions and kind of a roundtable on what our strategy is here locally and how we're going to execute and just make the experience the best possible for our guests going forward. That's really that's how we win. but with staffing, it's been tough for people to make meetings. It's been tough to get things coordinated. But we're going to be trying to get that set up this summer. So keep your eyes and ears and emails and open, and be ready to mark some things on the calendar as we get things together, so we can get together a little bit more in person and have some more detailed and kind of closer knit discussions. So
yeah, and that was the thing I forgot. So I want to make sure those are separate meetings. The first
Right.
one Brandon mentioned, there'll be in groups of about 3 to 7 franchisees, train the trainer, with our field team training you on how to conduct training on slicers. So for some of the territory, we're already slicing, and that's going to be irrelevant. But for those that are happening now and a little bit later, through now and June, your field consultant going to be reaching out, setting up time for you to attend. And the second one was Brandon and I attending market-wide meetings and having a roundtable with you guys.
yeah, 2 different things. So both things very important, and keep your eyes on the lookout for communications from our office. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, we're excited about rolling into the summer. As soon as we can get the warm weather kicking, the better. So we appreciate you guys very much, and thanks for your continued hard work.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Subway BD Regional Podcast, a creative approach to communication designed to keep you informed, connected, and equipped. To receive notifications when new episodes are available, select subscribe below. Thanks for all you do, and continue to create great.